If you're going to live in Portland, you're going to want to check out some of the amazing parks that we have here. Portland and the Willamette Valley is really known for being very green and very lush, and that makes for some really great parks. And today I want to show you some of my favorite parks in the Portland metropolitan area. Now, some of these parks are probably going to show up pretty high on a list, like if you're searching online, and then I've got a couple that are maybe sleepers that you might not otherwise know about, and they're all going to be unique. They're all going to have their own special features. So we're not just talking about things like playgrounds and tennis courts or basketball courts or pickleball courts, of which we have so many of these days, but hundreds of miles of trails, lots of nature, lots of different plants, over 2,000 different types of plants and trees. So there's going to be an unlimited amount of places to walk, jog, hike. If you're a biker, Portland is a big bike city. Some of these parks are going to be great destinations for bikers because some of them have a lot of elevation and then also have a lot of really great views. So there's kind of something for everybody in this video. So stick around, you won't want to miss this one. Let's go. Everyone, welcome back to the channel Living in Oregon. I'm your host, Seth Marchant, licensed real estate broker in Oregon and Washington. Or if you're new to this channel, Living in Oregon, we show you what it's like to live here. We've got over 200 videos on our channel. A lot of those videos taking you through the different towns and neighborhoods and getting you familiar with the area. And some videos like this that are really going to show you some of the best of what Portland has to offer. In this video, I'm going to take you through, like I mentioned, some of the best parks in the Portland metropolitan area. And today we're going to start at Portland's crown jewel, Washington Park. So if you want to see more about what it's like to live in Oregon, you can check out one of our 200 videos on the channel. We release new videos every single week, so make sure and subscribe to see new videos. Tap the bell, that way you'll be notified. Washington Park is over 400 acres. It's really an urban park because Portland is just right below us. So we're sitting right back up in the hills behind Portland. This is going to be one of the larger parks on our list. It's also adjacent to a few other things. It's connected to the Oregon Zoo, the Hoyt Arboretum, and just behind me is the Japanese Gardens. I'm walking through the Oregon Rose Test Gardens. There's over 10,000 rose bushes here. This will be one of the more popular parks on this list, so if you do come here, you're going to want to plan accordingly. It's a big tourist destination. There's also a lot of field trips here. I took field trips here when I was in elementary school. Parking can be tough. You might want to take a look at a map before you come. There's really going to be more in this area, this park, and some of the things that I mentioned than I can really cover in this video. And if you planned out your entire day, you're not going to be able to see nearly all that it has to offer in just one day. There's no admission for this park, although there is admission for the Japanese Gardens. There's about 2,300 different trees, species here. You got 12 miles of park, lots of places to picnic. It's also a great date spot too if you want to bring your significant other. This is also one of the places where you've got some great views, again, just overlooking Portland back up in the hills. I'd recommend taking a look at a map before you come. This is definitely a must check out if you're going to visit or to live in Portland. Next, I'm going to take you to a place that's a little bit spooky. All right, now I am in, not too far away from where we were in Washington Park. I am in Forest Park. But before I tell you a little bit about Forest Park and the spooky place that I'm going to visit, I'm reminded, because I haven't been to Washington Park in a while, one of my favorite things actually about visiting Washington Park, and especially as a real estate broker, is the drive up and through and around there, because some of Portland's most architecturally interesting and really just kind of like the coolest homes are around Washington Park. So it's really a nice drive. Maybe if you're just looking for a Sunday kind of leisurely drive, that would be a great place around the Portland metro area to go. And as a reminder, as a real estate broker, if you do have questions about moving to Portland, I invite you to call, text, email, or you can hit that QR code. It'll take you to our website where you can find all of our contact information and more. All right, so Forest Park, this is going to be one of the largest, if not the largest, I'm not sure what the largest is, but this is definitely one of the largest parks in a metropolitan area. And as the name implies, it's really just a big forest. It's over 5,000 acres. In New York City, Central Park is about 800 acres for reference. There's something like 80 miles of trails in here that you can hike or walk, or there's places to bike as well. And this kind of gives you the feel of driving around the northwest Portland hills, and that you're gonna find a lot of trees. It is very forested all around the northwest hills of Portland, especially where we just came from in Washington Park. And where we're going to visit next is a place called the Witch's Castle. Now, I've never been here before. I used to do a lot more hiking and visiting parks back in the day when I had more time on my hands, but I've never been to the Witch's Castle, so I'm going to take this opportunity to take a visit at the Witch's Castle and show you what that's like. It's kind of a popular place for people to visit, but that's maybe a little bit more off the beaten path. As you can maybe pick up from some of my huffing and puffing here, you do have to do a little bit of a climb up a hill, so we do have a little bit of elevation here. Not sure exactly how high we're gonna have to go. I'm guessing maybe like 500 feet or something like that. So I'm gonna cut this here and I'll bring you back when I get to the top where I find the Witch's Castle. Okay, a little note for you, anybody that's thinking about actually visiting the Witch's Castle. If you are coming in and driving in from Cornell Road, which is where a lot of the parking is, there's probably another way to walk into this, but a lot of you are going to drive here and park. When you begin, you probably saw me mention that I was going up, and I thought it was maybe 500 feet or so of elevation, probably at most. I went the wrong way. So you're actually going, so if you start by going up, you're probably going the wrong way like I did. You're actually gonna want to start by going down, and that's probably par for the course for me. Actually, I've only ever made one other hiking video. I don't know if I would call this hiking, maybe urban hiking, but I did make another video along the Oregon coast, real hiking, and got lost, had to backtrack. So if you want to watch that video, by the way, you can check it out right here. So mental note, anybody watching, you're going to want to start by heading downhill, and it looks like maybe, let's see, I came from, maybe come down like 150 feet or so, you know, for anybody that's maybe has a disability or is worried about what the trail's like. It's pretty rocky in some places. It's probably gonna be a little bit slick too if it's wet out. So it's definitely not something that's easy to traverse around. All right, we're almost there to the Witch's Castle. All right, we're here. Let's go take a look.
Hi. This would be the perfect house for this little witch.
Look like you're moving around up there, but do it in a way you're not actually moving, because otherwise it's going to make it blurry.
All right, well, there you have it, the witch's house. Not as spooky as I had read about online. Probably spookier at night. Probably a little less spooky if it didn't have so much graffiti too. Did have a witch. The person in the video waving claimed to be a witch, you know, so what's a witch's house without a witch? So there's that. It was nice following the stream on the way in here. There's a cool little waterfall too, so gives it you know, more of a tranquil feel to it. What you're seeing right here though, I think really represents what you're gonna find in Forest Park. You're gonna find it's a little bit quieter, you know, it's not as crowded as Washington Park. And like I said, it does have a very tranquil feel to it. So if you want something that's not too far outside of the city, really just adjacent to the city, that's gonna have, like I said, like 80 miles of trails. Again, they're not gonna be the easiest, but lot of tripping hazards out here, but it's really beautiful. Again, like I said, we have some of the most beautiful parks in the entire country in Portland, Oregon. Let's move on to the next. All right, now we are at Council Crest. This is one of the parks that I had in mind when I said some great views. Now, this is one of the smaller parks, probably the smallest park on the list, but it does have trails leading around it. We've got some of those cherry blossoms that just started to blossom this past week. And by the way, sometimes I get asked this question when people are watching these videos a little bit later. This is being shot in mid-April. So mid-April is kind of when things start to blossom here around Portland, Oregon. It's a really great time to get out and see some of the flowers and everything that starts to bloom around the springtime. This is around the time that we start to get weather like you're seeing like this too. You know, we get a lot of comments about the rain and things like that too. So it's not actually raining year-round. It's actually pretty common to have weather like this around mid-April. This park's going to be a little bit quieter here. There's not going to be as much congestion at this park as maybe some of the other parks. So if you're looking for some really great views, this one should be at the top of your list. Now we are at the Tom McCall Waterfront Park. This is right in downtown Portland. So now we've come down outside of the hills. Washington Park, I mentioned, was the crown jewel of Portland, but this is probably the most popular park in Portland. It's maybe about a mile and a half long. If you want to see the entire thing, I actually biked it recently if you want to check out that video. This is home to a lot of different events, including the Rose Festival, the Blues Festival. It's kind of varied over the years, you know, with lockdown. There's a few events that went away and probably some coming back, but this is always one of the top destinations for events. As you can see, there's a lot of people out right now. A lot of people out here just laying down a blanket and relaxing, having a little picnic. It's beautiful out right now. There's really a lot to do and see and a lot of places to walk around here. So highly recommend if you've never been before, if you want to familiarize yourself with Portland. Now on to the next spot. All right, now we are on the other side of the Willamette River. So we're in southeast Portland on an extinct volcano called Mount Tabor. Although it's really just kind of a big hill. There's no actually like, you know, no spot where, you know, lava's like, there's no indentation like on top of the hill where you know, lava might have once flowed out of. So really just think of it as kind of a big hill. There's a couple ways to get in here, but there's stairs, maybe a couple 100 feet of stairs to get to the top. So not too bad. This is one of those places too where you maybe see some bikers coming up here as a destination point. One thing that's cool about this is you do have 360-degree views of Portland. Although a lot of these trees are going to obstruct the views, so you kind of have to find your spot between the trees to see some of these views. But there's lots of park benches everywhere to do that. Lots of open space to set up a picnic. Dogs are allowed in here, although on leash. There is an off-leash dog spot though. The whole entire place is about 190 acres, so it's pretty large. You've got some basketball courts, and there's a bunch of trails all throughout here for hiking, walking, jogging, whatever it may be. And if you don't want to take the stairs up, there's a bunch of trails that will traverse up to the top too. And this area is also surrounded by a lot of residential. Most of the parks that we're at are going to have residential around them, some more than others, but this one is surrounded by a lot of trendy spots throughout southeast Portland. So a lot of people are walkable to this park or to the top of this volcano straight from their house. All right, on to the next. All right, now we're not far away, just maybe about a mile or so from Mount Tabor and Laurelhurst Park. This is also a park that's surrounded by really great neighborhoods, most notably the Laurelhurst neighborhood. There's a lot of really amazing homes in there. This is about a 30-acre park. We've got basketball, tennis courts, horseshoes. There's quite a bit going on. Maybe you might hear some of that music going on in the background right now. Lots of places, kind of as you can see, to lay down a blanket, have a picnic. Lots of picnic tables here. There's an off-leash area, which is kind of right around here for dogs. So a lot of people bringing their dogs. A lot of people in Portland are dog people, so you're gonna see people out and about with dogs kind of anywhere, regardless of where you go throughout Portland. Beautiful park, as you can see, centered around a lake, really kind of like a big pond. And always pretty busy too. Parking can be a little bit difficult here, but there are lots of places to park. You might just have to find, you know, there's a lot of access points too, so it really kind of doesn't matter where you park. Also one of the older parks in Portland, so this park probably has a lot of nostalgia for a lot of people. I have another one coming up on the list too that I'm pretty nostalgic about, that I spent a lot of time as a kid. I'm sure there's a lot of people that spent time here growing up as kids too. So really beautiful, great park, great area to live in too. On to the next spot. All right, now we are at Oaks Park in Sellwood. So we're still on the east side, really getting down to the southern part of Portland, right on the border of Clackamas and Multnomah County. Just to the south of us is Milwaukee, so just beyond this, you're gonna start to get into the suburbs. This is a large park. I think it's about 160 acres. And I mentioned to you that all of these parks have something unique. Well, this one particularly has something unique. Right over there is an amusement park. It's got a handful of rides, even a roller coaster ride. I can't think of any other amusement parks that are nearby. I don't know what the closest one is. It's probably in Washington or California, so definitely unique. But something that really makes this park great is you're right along the Willamette River, so there's lots of river access. Lots of places where people are just hanging out, putting a blanket down, having a picnic, throwing the ball in the water for dogs. There's a off-leash dog park here as well. You're gonna see quite a few dogs running around through here. I came here quite a bit growing up. Also, we've got Westmoreland Park around here too, which is also a really great park. It reminds me a lot of Laurelhurst Park. Really kind of hard to keep this list small. I can't fit all the parks I wanted to into this video, especially with my being kind of time constrained. So I want to mention that one too, especially if you're interested in Sellwood. Sellwood is a great place. If you're looking for something that's suburban and urban, like I said, we're kind of right on the border. But this is a really beautiful park. You've got boat access for things like kayaks. Now I'm going to take you to another park that has a actual boat launch. One of the few in the area, but if you have like a small type of watercraft like a kayak, there's going to be a lot of places to put in here. Let's actually take a little walk down to the river so I can give you a little bit more of a view, because you do have a really long unobstructed access to the river here. You don't have a ton of residential surrounding this park directly, so you're not going to be like, can't find homes backed up to this park, but there are quite a few homes that are walkable to Oaks Park. And I mentioned to you that video where I rode my bike through McCall Waterfront Park that we were at a few parks ago. This is actually where I started. It's about like a 13-mile loop that takes you from the east side over to the west side. Some people that live over here probably think of that loop as the Sellwood Loop. People that live over on the west side probably refer to it as the Waterfront Loop. It's the same thing. There's lots of different access points where you can start, but a lot of people over on the east side tend to start that loop here at Sellwood in Oaks Park. All right, on to the next. Now we are just over to the other side of the river, back over on the west side at Willamette Park. Not to be confused, this is Willamette Park too, by the way, in Portland. There is another Willamette Park in Westland, so if you look those two up, this is the one that I'm at, just in South Portland. And similar to the other side of the river, this is a good area that's sort of a mix of suburban, urban. The neighborhood around here is John's Landing, or kind of more quaintly known as Jola. Got soccer fields, tennis courts, playground, some covered area. Got 26 acres. The path that you see right behind me there with people walking. That is the same path that we were by on Oaks Park that I mentioned, that is the Selwood Loop or the Waterfront Loop. So that thing goes through a lot of parks. So if you want to, again, it's 13 miles. If you want to ride your bike, go for a jog and see a lot of parks, the Waterfront or the Selwood Loop is a great way to do it. And then this is also where a lot of people are launching their boats. There's not a whole lot of boat launches, especially over here on the west side. So lots of parking too. You're never gonna usually run out of parking. It does get pretty full, but there's always usually a spot. So if you're a boat person, it's nice to be close to Willamette Park. And of course, you have an off-leash dog area. What park in Portland wouldn't be complete without that? So really big area if you can see in the background there, this park is a really long park that goes all along the Willamette River. You don't really have the kind of the beach access that you do on the other side. A little bit of a drop off over there, but you still got the views. All right, we got a couple more on the list. Now we are at Gabriel Park. This is going to be the westernmost park on the list. Mount Tabor was going to be the farthest east. So now we're really kind of getting into the suburbs. This 90-acre park, so it is a pretty big park, is, as you can probably see from some of the stuff in the background here, this is a very family-friendly park. They've got an awesome playground, probably the best playground of any other park on this list. Basketball courts, baseball, soccer, tennis, skate park, lots and lots of trails. There's also a community center with an indoor pool. This is also in a really great area, really great neighborhood. There's a lot of homes that back up to this park, so this is going to be walkable for a lot of people. So if you want to be actually somewhere where you can walk to a park like this, there's probably going to be some opportunities. There's not too much on the market right now, but there's definitely going to be at least some things that are coming up or are on the market right now. I've got one more on the list for you. All right, last stop. I am at Tryon Creek State Park. As you're probably going to see as I walk around, this is going to be very similar to Forest Park. I think there's a baseball diamond right at the edge of it, but for the most part, it's just all trails. This is 658 acres, something like that. So this will be the second biggest on our list. There's about 14 miles of trails to hike, walk, and jog through. Good place to find some wildlife as well. This is going to be the southernmost park on our list. So we're actually right on the border of South Portland and Lake Oswego. This will be kind of like one of the more tranquil parks. There's a lot of people that I think use this daily, and there's a lot of access points for their walking or for their hiking or jogging. There are a handful of neighborhoods that kind of border up against this that Tryon Creek actually provides as a green space. I was actually touring a home just this past week that was backed up to Tryon Creek. Definitely a nice thing to have in your backyard. All right, one more thing I just learned about Tryon Creek State Park is that they have a summer camp. Somebody that works here was asking me about what kind of video I was making, and they gave me this flyer. So the summer camp's been going on since the 70s for 6 to 14-year-olds. A lot of people return every year, and you can be a counselor. So it's a great way to support the park. There is a visitor center here too. Check out the visitor center when you come. Definitely a place you might want to grab a map because this is a very large park. So that rounds out our list. It's hard to pick with so many different parks, and there's so many more parks in the Portland metropolitan area. So anybody watching this, if you want to contribute, there's definitely going to be some things that I might have missed. So anything about any of the parks, anything that's any amenities that you want to share, if you want to tell us what your favorite park is, feel free to do so in the comments. If you want to talk about moving to Portland, if you want to live around one of these parks, again, I am a licensed real estate broker in the state of Oregon. Helped dozens of people every single year relocate to this area. If you're somebody that has questions, if you want to take the next steps, I invite you to call, text, email. You can hit that QR code if you want to go to our website and see all of our information and more videos. Like I said, we've got over 200 videos on our channel. So if you want to see more about what it's like to live in Oregon, you can visit that channel now, and make sure and subscribe, tap that bell. We release new videos every single week. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and until next time, take care everyone.